Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be diving into average transaction prices because it really does show what's happening across the automotive industry. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And some of the information provided in today's video comes from Cox Automotive. Let's get into it. So the big headline is that the average new vehicle transaction price has pretty much done nothing over the course of the last year. And again, this is the average. So if you bought a new vehicle at the same time last year, you would pay pretty much the same thing that you are paying today, which might sound good on the surface, but again, you have to remember we're at all-time highs when it comes to car prices. Now, not all segments are the same. Non-luxury vehicles had a year-over-year price increase of less than 1%, so pretty much flat across the board. And you have to remember that non-luxury accounts for most of the overall car market in terms of sales volume. And so this obviously has a much bigger weight compared to the other segments that we will dive into. So non-luxury cars, not really doing a whole lot year over year. Now, luxury cars had a big decline year over year, 3.3% decline. This is the largest decline in a decade, and so you would think that it would show some level of weakness in the luxury car market, but luxury car market share is at 18.8%, which is the largest it's been in quite some time. And so luxury automakers are basically focusing more on volume rather than, trying to make as much money as possible on a per car basis. But something to mention is that Tesla, that brand, right, is considered a luxury brand, and they are a big part of the reason as to why the luxury segment has had a year-over-year decline, because they've had huge price cuts. If you look at certain automakers like Audi and Mercedes, they've increased their transaction prices year-over-year by like over 10%, and so it's not all equal across. Now, when it comes to electric vehicles, everything across the segment has declined, and again, a big part of this is because Tesla is pretty heavy when it comes to market share in the electric world, and so if they decrease their prices, right, it's going to decrease the overall price of electric cars because everyone's going to have to follow suit. But also, again, Tesla accounts for a large portion of the market, but almost 20% decline year over year. And it looks like Tesla is going to continue doing this moving forward as they are focusing on just moving more cars rather than trying to make as much money as they can on a per car basis. Now, this is happening at the same time that incentive spend is increasing. The average incentive on a brand new car is over $2,300. And so what this shows is that automakers are having to spend more money to convince people to buy cars. Now, if we just quickly kind of go through the segments, I think it really does show what's happening within the market and how this reflects to the general economy. So, non-luxury cars, right? They didn't really do anything year over year. So that means that there's lots of pricing power with non-luxury cars, which makes sense because whenever there is any sort of economic downturn, the first thing to go is luxury items, right? People are going to go from buying the top of the line stuff to buying the not so top of the line stuff because it's like you just get stuff based off necessities. So there's been a lot more people in the non-luxury segment, and so that's why there is pricing power there. Now, when it comes to the luxury segment, luxury car automakers know this, and so that's why there's been price declines year over year. Is they're having, they understand that they don't have as much pricing power, and if they want people to purchase their cars, they're going to have to incentivize it. But again, it's not uniform across the board because there are some luxury automakers that appeal to very wealthy buyers that are willing to still pay big price premiums for cars, so they're able to increase their prices. And then when it comes to electric cars, electric cars with the average pricing was close to the average price of a luxury car, and now it's down to like $53,000, which, if you don't know, is several $1,000s more expensive than non-luxury, but it's quite a bit less expensive than luxury. The average luxury price is like $67,000. And so what this means is that with these electric cars, they're finally getting closer in price to non-luxury cars, which makes sense because electric cars, not all of them are luxury cars. There are some that are luxury cars, but not all of them. So, in the future, eventually you'd think that, the price gap is going to be a lot, closer between non-luxury and fully electric cars. And on top of that, right, there's going to be a little bit more weight from electric cars in the overall market. So that's going to kind of change transaction prices overall. But let me know what you guys think about this whole situation with these average transaction prices. But I think that this, perfectly mirrors what's happening in the market, where we are moving more and more towards a buyer's market because of everything that's happening in the economy. I'll see you.